everybody, Crystal Beaudry here with Crystal's Clean Kitchen, where we help make clean eating a lifestyle. So I know I normally do not do dinner recipes, but every once in a while I bust one out. Normally I'm always doing all the treats and the desserts and stuff, but we have to have something to eat too, right? So we are going to be making a creamy Cajun chicken soup that is perfect for any winter day. It will go great as leftovers, so if you're wanting to have something for lunch the next day, or even to store it in the freezer for a different time. You guys, this is your recipe. It tastes amazing. It's bursting with flavor. Of course, that Cajun flavor is so good. Now that reminds me, if you haven't checked out my short that I just did on how to make your own Cajun seasoning, make sure to go do that, because we are going to be using that recipe in this episode. So you're not going to want to miss that. Well, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, smash that like button. Here is all the ingredients that we're going to be using. So we are going to be starting off with some bone broth. I have some chicken bone broth here. Now, normally I do make it myself, but I just ran out. So we'll be doing 3 cups of some bone broth and 1.5 pounds of some chicken. You can get any kind of chicken that you want. If it's thighs or breasts or whatever, anything will work. Then we'll be doing 1 tablespoon of some garlic and 1 tablespoon of some olive oil. We'll also be doing 1 onion, 1 cup of some cut up carrots, 1.5 cups of some celery that's been chopped. We'll also be doing 2 peppers, cut up of course. And then for our seasoning, we are going to be doing some Cajun seasoning. So you need 2 tablespoons of Cajun seasoning. If you don't know how to make it, I just did a short about it. It was super easy. You probably have all the spices at home to make it, so make sure to go watch that. Now we're also going to be doing 1 can of some fire roasted tomatoes, 2 teaspoons of some hot sauce, and for making this really creamy, we're going to be adding in 1/4 cup of some heavy whipping cream and 1 8-ounce package of some cream cheese. For the toppings for this, we're going to be doing some green onions, some jalapeños, some cheese, and some sour cream. Okay, so I'm going to be starting by cooking my chicken in the Instant Pot. Now there's a ton of different ways that you can do it. I'm going to be doing a double recipe. So I'm doing 6 cups of the bone broth. And you could do this in the Instant Pot if you wanted. You could do all of the stuff in the Instant Pot, or you could do it in a slow cooker. You could, of course, cook the chicken on the stove if you wanted. So I'll be cooking the chicken in here. I'll be cooking it about 10-15 minutes in the Instant Pot, letting it release naturally. And then for the other stuff, I will be cooking that on the stove and starting to get that ready while the cooked chicken is cooking. Now I'm also going to be adding in the Cajun seasoning just because I'm wanting it to get really baked in or cooked into the chicken. And so that's why I'm doing it all together. Actually, I'm going to do a little bit more. All right. So you want to set it, make sure that the top is on sealing, and then we'll be doing pressure cook. And I think I'm going to do 15 minutes. So now we're just going to be chopping up all of our vegetables. You can do it any type of sizes that you are wanting. Bigger chunks is totally fine. Smaller chunks is just fine. Whatever you want. Whatever you want. And then I also brought the pan that I'm going to be putting this in because I'm going to be cooking the rest of the stuff on the stove. I'll saute the onions first and then add in everything else and start to cook it a little bit while my chicken is cooking. Now, another great idea, like I said earlier, is that you can do this in a slow cooker. You know, do it before you leave for work. And by the time you get home, you will get this beautiful smelling supper that you can have all ready to go. The only thing you would do differently for a slow cooker is you would not add all of the dairy products until the very end, because that wouldn't be good. So the only thing that you'll do is you'll cook that all once it's done at the end of the day when you come home. You'd take the chicken out, you'd cut it up or just kind of shred it. You'll put that back into the pot back into the slow cooker, and then you would add in all of your creams and stuff. So the sour cream, or not the sour cream, the heavy whipping cream and the cream cheese. So I grabbed a bunch of cloves of garlic. An easy way that you can get the sides off of them is just by smashing it. You can also cut the end of it first and then smash it if you're wanting. That works good as well. Now, we recently made some white chicken chili at home, and it turned out so very good. I mean, I'm not a huge chicken fan. I just normally I'm like, ugh, chicken. But when I make this into a soup, it just turns out so amazing. And I can't even, I actually will eat it then. It's like the only way I will eat chicken pretty much. So I peeled my garlic. I'm chopping it as small as I can possibly get it. And then I'm going to be adding it into the onions. We're going to go throw this on the stove and add in some of the olive oil right now also. Adding in the tablespoon of olive oil. Of course, I'm doing a double batch, so I added in a little bit extra. Just simmer for a few minutes and saute, and then I will be adding in the celery next. So now that our onions are cooking, I'm going to be just chopping up the celery. And then you want to add your celeries after your onions have been in there for a few minutes. So I personally love doing double batches of stuff just because it allows me to cook less. But you can put this in the freezer if you're wanting. You could store it in a little jar or a glass container or something like that in the freezer and then have a meal for later on. You could, of course, store it in the refrigerator and have it for the week. Sometimes it's nice to just make a couple of big meals and then just have leftovers. I know my kids probably wouldn't say that, but with soup, I mean, it's just, it only gets better with time. Because as it's sitting in the refrigerator, it's kind of all melding together and it's gonna taste even better the next day. My onions should be done. I'm gonna go throw in celery. So we're chopping up the carrots. I just love this recipe because it has so many colors of vegetables in it. You know, you always hear people say that having lots of colors is the best thing that you can do for staying healthy. And so this is a great way that you can get a wide variety of vegetables in your diet. And if you pack yourself a lunch when you go to work, this is a great option to take with you. All right, now that I have all the vegetables chopped, I'm gonna go add in the rest of this to the pot, and then we can add in some of the other ingredients as well. So we started with our onions, we added in the celery, then we added in everything else. It smells so amazing in here, seriously. Now we're gonna add in the can of fire roasted tomatoes without the juice, and then we're also going to be adding in our hot sauce. Stir this around. And then once the chicken's done, we're gonna shred it and add everything, the sauce and all of the chicken into this pot. As you can see, this is very, very hot. Just came out of the Instant Pot. You can just take it and it shreds so easy. In fact, I probably could have shredded it in the pot still. Now I'm going to be taking the rest of the liquid that I soaked this in, and I'm going to be putting it into the soup. And then I'm going to let it kind of sit, and you could put it on a low. You could put the temperature on low if you wanted. We're gonna just have all the flavors kind of meld together, which is perfect because I'm going to be going and picking up my kids from school, and it's gonna just be the perfect time to have all of these flavors combine. Now the reason why I did this in the Instant Pot is because I feel like it makes the chicken really juicy and it doesn't dry it out as much as cooking it another way probably would. Of course, if you cooked it in a slow cooker, that probably would be great as well. Ooh, this is looking so good. I love all these colors. So I just got back home from picking up the kids. I, of course, had it off. And so it's just kind of been all the flavors have been melding together. I'm going to throw in some cut up cream cheese. Give it a stir. Also going to be adding in my heavy whipping cream. You could, if you wanted to, add in sour cream. Any kind of cream is really going to work for this. Sour cream, or sometimes I do yogurt. In fact, I might do a little yogurt in this. Anything that just gives it this really nice creamy texture. And since I did a double batch, I'm going to add in a little bit more cream cheese. My little brother stopped by and I had to send some home with him. You of course want to be doing a taste test also to see if the spices are enough or if it needs any more salt or pepper or anything like that. Oh, this is looking so good though. All right, here it is. It turned out amazing. I keep nibbling on it at the stove because it's just so good. Now I have Hannah here with me and she's gonna do the taste test with us. Are you ready, girl? Let's do it.
Yum.
All these flavors are so good. What do you think, girl?
Good.
Wow. Now for the toppings, you can do green onions, you can do shredded cheese. That's what I did. And I also did a little sour cream. Now my husband's going to be adding in some jalapeños with his. And you could also do avocados. That would be super good on this too. You guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and of course, stay tuned for some more great episodes. We'll see you next time.